You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the October 2025 regular council meeting for the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte. I'm Florence Mitchell. Today's meeting begins with a presentation by Matthew Rouleau of Project Village. Under Old Business, Council will consider a funding request by the Beaver Harbor Athletic Association. Under New Business, Council will move to complete a notice of demolition for a property on Crow Island Road in Back Bay under the Dangerous and Unsightly Premises Bylaw. Council will also move to approve a grant in the amount of $9,020 to the Grove Motel for the repair or replacement of signage, to be funded by the St. George Tourism Accommodation Levy. Council will discuss draft utility rate bylaw EC14 and a draft amendment to bylaw EC01 regarding proceedings of Council. Additionally, Council will move that all working sessions for the 2026 budget, as well as any committee of the whole meetings where budget matters are discussed, be recorded and made available for public review, and that residents be given the opportunity to provide comment to Council regarding the budget. Finally, Council will move to charter the services of Dawning Voyage Tours for 2 Christmas shopping bus trips to St. John for senior residents of Eastern Charlotte. Now let's join Council at Macadavic Place in St. George.
I will now call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. here at Macadavic Place, St. George. Good evening and welcome to the October 2025 regular council meeting for Eastern Charlotte Council. I welcome all those that are attending and those that are watching on CHCO tonight or on YouTube tomorrow. I want to thank Dawson Hatt for doing the camera here tonight. So thank you very much, Dawson, for doing it. Florence Mitchell's in the back. And, of course, Vicki Hogarth is up here taking notes as well, too. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate it. At this point, I need a motion to adopt the agenda tonight. So I need somebody to move. Councilor McQuarrie, seconded by Councilor Thompson. Let's grab my pen here a sec. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Next is conflict of interest. This is your opportunity to declare any conflict of interest. If there's none, I move on to number 4, which is the adoption of the minutes. Council, what is your, what would you like to do with that? Councilor Dedirakis.
I move to adopt the agenda for the meeting of October 15th, apologies.
No, we just did that one.
Yeah. We're on the first one, yeah. So I move to approve the minutes for the meeting of September 17th, 2025, regular meeting of council with the following corrections and amendments. So for my statement, I would like it to be amended to include specifically what were the priorities I was referring to, which was childcare, establishing a relationship with the province, a working relationship with the province, and the Blacks Harbor water system.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with a couple of changes. I need a seconder for that. Councilor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Council, September 23rd. Councilor Dedirakis, thank you. They leave me hanging.
I move to approve the minutes for the meeting of September 23rd, special meeting of council as circulated to members of council.
I have a motion on the floor, seconded by Councilor Thompson. Thank you. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Okay, that's passed unanimously. September 23rd, the committee of the whole meeting. I need a motion for that tonight. Councilor Lee.
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting of September the 23rd, 2025, Committee of the Whole, as circulated to members of council.
Great, thank you. And a second by Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. October the 7th, Committee of the Whole. I need a motion for that one as well. Okay, Councilor McKay, sorry.
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 7th, 2025, Committee meeting of the whole as circulated to members of council.
Great, thank you, Councillor McKay. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Tidd, was that your hand up or no? Okay. Great. Second by Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Okay, 5 is business arising out of the minutes. There's none. Delegations, the gentleman is not here tonight, so we're going to move on to department reports. And 7A is general government report, and I'll go with Jason on this.
Thank you, Your Worship. General government report for the month of September. Water, wastewater on Globe continues to work on 3 projects regarding the Blacks Harbor water. Completed a positive meeting with Connors Brothers on the future of the water system in Blacks Harbor, and moving ahead with cooperation in those water projects. Completed a prep site meeting with Clean Harbors at the Blacks Harbor Lagoon, with the work starting October 22nd. CBCL is working also on 3 utility projects for St. George, which is an association. They're reviewing the operation efficiency of wells 4 and 5. While we are moving out of the warmer weather, the conditions of a drought remain, and we continue to ask users to be proactively conservation of water, and we expect likely that drought alert to be gone by the end of this month, thankfully. Childcare, early project costing, and current commitment levels from the feds were received. I think it's been circulated with council with a few different notes, and I think in previous minutes. But as of right now, the province has come back on their commitment level. The province being 33%, the federal government on its commitment of 29%, and the rest 38% being with Eastern Charlotte and likely mostly with fundraising. Discussions continue with request for other levels of government to provide more support, so we certainly have reached out to RDC for further discussion. Awaiting construction plans as well, so a tendering can be completed and to provide a much more accurate cost of that building. Public Works paving will be completed on 3 streets in St. George in October. Those streets are Granite Street, a portion of Campbell Hill, and a portion of Brunswick Street. Several repairs will be repaved, such as the Clinch Street and the dip as you work your way up to the Hillcrest subdivision in St. George. Additionally, there will be adjustment work on the portion of Brunswick Street with respects to drains. That will be in Blacks Harbor. As you go through with Blacks Harbor, there's a few storm drains that drop down quite a bit. We'll be rising them back up. The Public Works Building Blacks Harbor is continuing to move to insulation and electrical work. It's the final couple stages. Sourcing 3 new vehicles as per Council's reallocation of capital funds in the September meeting. Repair and upgrades to the sewage line on Clinch Street have been completed. Both public work teams will be installing the veterans banners in October. Parks and Recreation startup of the arena went very well. Winterizing of Canal Beach and Splash Pad is taking place, now pretty much completed. Staff completed more work at Riverside Park, though some additional work is required, such as finishing the guardrail and some prep of the new grass area. We'll also start looking at the next phase of possible rejuvenation of that park, as Council's committed to continue to show improvements there. At the St. George Post Office, the Soldier Memorial that's out front, which was erected in 93, 94, has been coordinated off due to safety issues. The monument was inspected by Smet Monuments and deemed to be in need of repair. We hope to have the monument temporarily returned to Smet Monuments, reassembled, and relocated back to St. George. The plaza itself, where the monument is in need of repairs. We'll be looking at doing those repairs and at least putting the project together. The nearby hardwood tree there that's been used as a Christmas tree, we did have a few dead limbs, I guess, not limps, and they were removed and a closer inspection was done. Looks like we will be able to get some use out of that tree for Christmas time this year. Fire, the tender was supposed to have been active, but we're still finalizing that. And I think that hopefully that will be out there this week. We've acquired a new pump trailer for the fire department, held meetings with Ambulance New Brunswick on the increase of medical calls, and still looking to compile that policy regarding the medical calls. Finance and HR, Deadline for nonprofit organization grant request is approaching, with October 31st as our deadline. Finance is working at year end and putting together preliminary numbers for budget 2026. We should have some of those early numbers to council, likely not next week, but the week after. We are waiting information from the province regarding changes to the equalization fund as a result of fiscal reform, and we did receive some of those. Thankfully, we're not losing any money when it comes to equalization. So it'll just be a slight top up, but not a whole lot. Housing and development, waiting confirmation development agreements from Hillside Subdivision. We have received those. I can let council know. We did receive those yesterday. Still awaiting a meeting with the developer for the apartment building on Brunswick Street. And I know Matt Rouleau is going to be here today as well to talk about his projects in Black Arbor. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he was able to make it. EMO Public Safety, EMO Coordinator Tony Munn is working with the province on training. It's been a long time coming. With the generators will be finally certified. In October, we hope to see the alarm system installed for the Macadavic Place and have a final set of cameras for 2025, which will be installed at the arena. In 2026, we plan to review cameras at several of the rural fire halls and the Black Arbor Public Works site. We have been working with the RCMP on several illegal campsites that are on private lands with residents, with landowners, and on the walking trails, and have completed cleanups of several of those dump spots. Residents are advised to contact the RCMP to report any suspicious activity, even on the walking trails or in our parks, highlight any issue with the RCMP or the municipal office as well. And finally, staffing. Eastern Charlotte wishes to extend a congratulations and a farewell to Chris McKinnon, who's been the assistant clerk. Chris has accepted a position of clerk with the town of St. Andrews, and certainly I'd like to personally thank Chris for all of his hard work over the years and being a big part of the team. So thank you very much. That's my report. Good.
Okay, we'll move on. Reports of Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission. I'll let you handle this one.
Yeah, certainly Planning Director Alex Henderson gives his regrets to council tonight, so I'll review the report. As the province's January the 1st, 2028 deadline comes quickly to adopt a new rural or municipal plan for Eastern Charlotte. Planning staff are seeking council's direction to formally begin the public engagement and background study in 2026. For more comprehensive municipal plan becomes possible for Eastern Charlotte 2026-27, staff could later do additional research and work involved with that type of community plan. PRAC approves a variance application by Alex Wilkins to develop 2 additional dwellings at 120 Mount Pleasant Road. Development update, 7 building demolitions or development permits been approved in 2025 year to date. 1 new permit issued in the last month. Permit activity beginning to show a seasonal slowdown. Total construction value in Eastern Charlotte to date is $5.9 million. 15 tentative subdivision plans approved year to date. 2 new subdivision plans with 6 building lots approved in the last month. 9 zoning confirmation letters to date, and 1 new one. 23 net new home apartment units permitted in 2025. No changes from last report. 4 variance terms and conditions approvals grant year to date with 1 new variance. 2 documents approved exempt for registration with the Provincial Land Registry. For enforcement, 3 new enforcement files opened last month, 40 since the beginning of 2025 under the Community Planning Act, Building Code Administration Act, or the Dangerous Unsightly Bylaw. And this report submitted by Alex Henderson.
Great, thank you very much, Jason, for doing that. Any questions or comments on that? Councilor Dederakis?
Yeah, so I have a question for CAO. So when, I know Alex isn't here, but when would you suggest that we would start working on our municipal plan?
A new municipal or rural plan is
sorry.
tentative deadline from the province is 2028. So it's going to take roughly a year to gather all that data to combine one large rural plan. Let's just say that's what we go with, a rural plan. So yeah, I guess they're just looking to get the direction to start it at any time. I guess we would be thinking early 2026 that they would start that process, and that would include, public info sessions, that they would come and host a meeting in different areas of Eastern Charlotte to gauge some community feedback on whether it's zoning or community planning. So be early 2026, and it's pretty much 12 months from that, 12 years.
Okay, because I think there's other municipalities that are working on their
They
plan
are,
right now,
right.
right? But we're behind schedule. Not
Correct.
quite behind schedule technically, but
Yes.
we're behind the ball.
Right, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, much of this year, a lot of discussion was whether to become a township or whether to stay a rural community, and that dictates what type of plan it would be. So I think we pretty much settled in at this point to, I think getting them planning at least a rural community plan, that's probably the route to continue on. That work has to continue. If there's another level that gets added to that, or there's exemptions that are brought in, or more of a council-defined exemptions, then we can do that later on as well.
Yeah, Councilor McKay?
Once again, I mean, this is probably more for Alex. So with a new rural plan, and I know this is kind of a premature question, but with the existing plan for St. George and Blacks Harbor, but then the outlying areas, how do we expect to incorporate all that in together, where St. George is a little more condensed and Blacks Harbor with the outlying areas, because not all one, I can't see where all one plan would fit for all of Eastern Charlotte. Can you explain that just a little bit?
It certainly, I mean, there's lots of, statements of interest from the province that sort of would guide that process. And
Right.
thankfully, a lot of those former LSDs or rural areas have had some rural plans, so, they can look at how that was done. When it comes to St. George wouldn't be able to continue to have a municipal plan because, we just can't have a municipal plan when we're still a rural community. So that would have to be reverted to a rural plan as well. So there could be a variety of sort of a rural type of plan, as well as maybe some more densely areas like a St. George Blacks Harbor rural plan too. Maybe there's 2 rural plans. So yeah, I think as we start in that process, that will be, probably explained out in a little bit more detail. But you can have several different rural plans, not like 5 or anything like that. I think you're very limited on, you'd have to have sort of those communities that are more densely and developed, and then more of a rural area, so maybe 2. But yeah, we would have to, as far as St. George, the municipal plan would have to go away.
Thank you.
Councilor Tim?
So in following up with that, so if we go with a rural plan versus municipal plan, which looks like we're going, how much say around this table do we have as a council versus a municipal plan versus a rural plan? I guess would be my main concern. Do we have any clarification from the province on that?
I mean, the Act spells that out. The province has put out statements that say that, according to the Community Planning Act, that there's certain guidelines that have to be followed. It doesn't allow for a municipality to sort of get its own exemptions to that. The rural plan is what it is. The province has very much stated that, rural plans have to follow really what their guidelines are for rural communities. So whereas municipal plans like the city of St. John would have, or other townships would have, it does allow the local government to give some exemptions to, I think we often bring up the roadway not exceeding 365 meters in a rural area. We've had that with some development projects that we've had in the St. George or Upper Latang area. But as a municipal plan, the council could set that exemption. They could say, we want to go 2,000 meters back. We want to allow that to happen. But the statement of interest from the province is saying 365 meters. That's as far as you can go back with a one-way road.
So I guess my conclusion on that, from going from a municipal plan to a rural plan, it takes some of the decision-making powers away from this council.
Does allow, the local council does allow more say of how it wants to define its plan.
So what happens, Your Worship, what happens with the municipal plan of the old town of St. George and the municipal plan or the village plan that we have in the village of Blacks Harbor? I mean, has the province said that we can reuse some of that and put statements of in our rural plan of that, or does that all go away and we lose all our opportunity of development and everything that we have today?
No, I mean, for the most part, for the village of Black Arbor, it's a rural plan, so, that could be pretty much adopted, whereas St. George, though, is a municipal plan. So we wouldn't be able to have a municipal plan in the current setup that we are today.
So for clarity here, so it isn't so much wordy, so like in the village, that plan that's there today existing could still stay the same?
I'd have to check the regulations on it. I think we have to make some adjustment to it, so we could have a rural plan that's good for both St. George and Black Arbor, and then a rural plan for the rural areas. I just would have to clarify that. You'd have to have some adjustment because now we're Eastern Charlotte, and that was built under the village of Black Arbor. So that
How
was-
much, but how, like, is that a possibility that can be with the province? They gonna allow us to customize something like that, or are we just left to them?
Oh, Chris can maybe add something with that.
So I did some reading on the Community Planning Act, and in both cases, whether it's a municipal plan or rural plan, it does allow for sub-plans. So you would have your primary, and then you can have subsections underneath that. So Black's Harbor would be a sub-plan. St. George would be a sub-plan. And then potentially all the rural districts would be a sub-plan. So that is built into the Community Planning Act that allows for that to be separate from each other, even though it's in the same community.
Yeah, but we would have to, as far as the rural plan for the former village of Black Arbor, that would have to be, we'd have to replace it with an Eastern Charlotte one, yes. Yeah.
I guess that's my same question. I mean, not just the village, but the two of them they're significantly different than what a rural plan is. Like property in a rural plan, unless it's less than or more than 5 acres, can't be broke down less than 5 acres or something along that line. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's not gonna work in St. George or Black Arbor.
Right.
They're lots, not acreage of land, so.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, and-
I would want to know very clear from the province that that is gonna be allowed, because if not, that is a huge change
Definitely
to
is. Yeah,
standard procedure today.
right, yeah. And we can get some more clarification, I guess, once we start to enter that phase of going through and updating a rural plan, that'll all have to be brought out, exactly. So, I mean, we know the municipal plan does allow for the council to set a lot of exemptions and set different parameters on many different things when it comes to planning and development. So you just don't have that toolbox with a rural plan as much as you do with a municipal plan. So, that's kind of the world that we're going to be going into. But as we get in that process, that's probably the first few phases of, the sub-plans that we'd have to take a look at and see how they work with the situations today.
Okay, Council, at this point, I'm going to go back a little bit on our agenda. Matt Rouleau is in the building, and welcome, Matt. So, Matt, what I'll ask you to do, if you could go right to the microphone, yeah, right there, and I'll hand it over to you. Matt,
I apologize, I was coming back from Fredericton, I didn't realize the
I think most of the council knows Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
road was closed, so I had to go around
Ah,
from Fredericton
yes.
Junction. If I took the road more often, I'd probably know that was the case. Okay, yeah, I was here to give an update on our projects in Black Arbor, so from Project Village Housing, and answer any questions that the council might have. So I've communicated to Jason and the mayor sort of along the way as we've been going, and also I've met with Lori to bring her up to date on the project. So of the two, Willow Court has been moving ahead. We're getting ready to start construction. The contractors are starting to mobilize the workforce, and we're just waiting for the final clearing of the title from on the legal side, and then we'll have the go-ahead from the funders to start on that. So we're looking still at about 8 to 10 months as our window for construction. So that puts us to occupancy by early summer. So if I say a date, then I'll get in trouble. But so that's we and then as far as on the funding side. We were able to sort of secure all the funding that we needed, get through all of the hurdles, and so which is sort of relief. And I'd communicated, Jason, at some point we'll be allowed to announce all that stuff. So
Just to clarify, I know you say Willow Court, but I think everybody in Black Harbor calls it the 260 building, so just.
Yes.
People listening
Yep.
tonight
So right
know what you're
behind-
talking about.
Right
Yeah.
behind Stella Maris Hall.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So, and we'd already completed the tear out, sort of, we got it all down to the studs, able to go in and make sure we hadn't, no surprises, and then updated our sort of construction contracts and subs were able to take another look at it. So that one is moving ahead, never as quickly as you want, but it's we've got some progress. Lewis Connors, I think the last update is we were here for the subdivision. By the time the subdivision got all wrapped up in about March, coincided very nicely when the feds put a pause on their funding. And so we've been waiting since then for them to start processing applications, and that got rebooted about 3 weeks ago. So I've been talking to, the federal side of things as far as, we're still in the queue, our applications are in there. Just how quickly is that going to happen is an unknown at this point. We also know that, they've got a lot of, there's probably a big backlog. So what we've done just to sort of, work with that delay is we've talked to the general contractor, make sure that we're not going to, have any new problems arise because things are waiting. And so right now, sitting down with them, we have, the plan is to put it back out to tender in the normal winter cycle when most subs are looking for work. And then, we're penciling in, sort of as early in 2026 as we can to start, finally on that. But it does depend on what happens with the federal funding and how quickly that moves ahead. So we keep telling them we're ready to go. We just need, everyone else to finish their piece. So, yeah.
Is there anything that we can do at our level to help move that along? Is there anything you want us to do? Any phone calls you want us to make, or just stay out of it? Or
Well, I've had regular meetings with, on the provincial side, like with the housing minister and our the team at the provincial association, and trying to move that ahead. It's really a federal thing. I had a chance to talk to the housing minister this summer federally. It didn't really do any. It's nice to say, hey, we're one of those projects that it's not, you don't consider it a big deal to put a pause on it, but there's a bunch of us that are just waiting, and we need housing. So the budget, we're waiting for more, I guess, news when the budget comes out early November to see how they're going to transition from CMHC funded projects to this new Build Canada Homes. But in the meantime, we're just still planning on, we're going to go through the old program, which is the one we know, and then just sort of, not look in the back, in the rearview mirror with all that stuff.
do you think with the delays, the costs will go up as well too? We're talking almost a year.
That was the worry. So, and when we sat down in August with the contractor, they said actually it would have been more expensive to try to start in the fall, just very last minute. Mm-hmm. If you, the good news from their point of view, notwithstanding any kind of material costs, labor-wise, you've got most people are looking to fill up their construction year and their construction work early winter, and right now it looks like there's been a bit of slowdown in areas, so they're anticipating there's in the fall you're just whoever you can get, you'd be lucky, whereas in the winter people are looking for work and things are a bit slower, so we're hoping that works in our favor. So no impact yet. So that's
good.
Yeah.
Council, do you have any questions for Matt? Councilor Hatt?
Yeah. So you're saying if we write a letter to the MP or lobby the federal government, it'll be no help? Or would you say
I think
just
it wouldn't
stay out
hurt.
of it? Or?
I usually think it never hurts to sort of push and make some noise, which is why, I went and had those meetings. But and definitely maybe having a meeting with our MP just to see if there's any any kind of, CMHC is a little odd because they're not really within government. So it's never clear to me how easily you can push some of those things. And I'm sure, as you know, sometimes it helps to just sort of go around, and sometimes it doesn't do you any favors. So that's a political question. But it wouldn't hurt to ask on the federal side.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long process, so to wait and hold up for somebody to figure out what budget they're gonna do, and, even be in the top 10 of the pile versus the top 3,000 of the pile would be a long ways, so.
Yeah, it's really the processing speed and however they move stuff to the top. So I'm like, that would be great. So I can talk to the MP and then maybe see if we can have a little meeting and if he can give us some ideas on how he could help. So, yeah.
Yeah, you follow that up, Jason? Thanks.
Yeah, the more noise we make, even with the media and stuff too, because the housing is definitely a national issue. It's not just here in Charlotte County. It's all across the country. I know that there's only so much money, and politically sometimes it goes to the right color. But if we don't, the more noise you make, I guess the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I guess.
Yeah.
So, Councillor McKay.
So help me with my ignorance, please. What is the difference between your apartment building and what you're wanting to do than, say, some of the construction's going on in St. Andrews? Because they seem to be booming and doing a lot of apartment buildings. So are they not applying for these CMHC loans or whatever? Or is that what it is?
It's financing. So private developers will just raise money from either out of their own pocket or from investors, and if if a project looks like it will give them a good return, then they're able to sort of move ahead. Our funders, like where we get our funding, is from the provincial government and the federal government. So we go through programs they've designed to increase the amount of affordable housing or nonprofit and co-op owned housing. So our process to get stuff built does not look the same as a private developer. So, but we get the benefit of grants and contribution, and so which is good, because generally trying to offer housing below market, you can't get a bank to land on that. So, yeah.
Yeah, good answer. You're okay, Councillor Tidd.
With the 260 building, did you say the only thing you're waiting for now is title?
So we have
Land
our funding agreements in place, and we have the lawyers are, getting the actual loan agreements, and part of that is making, discharging a few things on it and clearing it up. So they're just wrapping up the last of the legal work, and then after that we've got. We have, I gotta be careful what I say. And after that, we have, we're sort of go ahead and start. So, yeah, from one of the funders, it's sort of like we're able to start. In order to get a draw, you have to sort of, the last step for them is, show them that the other party has completed theirs, and they can see where they are on title with their security. So, yeah, funding and legal stuff, yeah.
No other question? Oh, Councillor
So realistically, chances are you won't be putting shovels in the ground in the spring. Everything would have to fall in place. The dominoes would all have to fall, because that's pretty quick. When you're talking governments, provincial or federal, they don't do things in a couple of months.
No, and this is where I come back to. We're ready to start. We're just missing that other piece. So there's two different things happening. One, I got to make sure that we're ready, and there's nothing that left undone in what we control. Then on the other end, it's on the federal side we've just been through this with the 260 building. Is this through the same program? And so it's I can gauge a little bit on that, but until I know when get some clarity on here's when we're through that 3-step process, it's hard to gauge ahead. So we're preparing to be ready for spring. But it's true, you're pointing out the wild card is really our dance partner,
Yeah.
has dances to their own tune. So,
I mean, hopefully everything works out well.
yeah.
But when you're dealing with provincial or federal governments, they don't work on our timetables usually.
No. Yeah.
Anyway, good luck.
Thank you very much for coming in tonight, Matt. I appreciate it, and it was good to have you here tonight.
All right, good. I apologize for being late.
Just keep in touch with Lori right there. Lori's your go-to person there. Great, thank you. At this point, Council, I'm going to go to 7C, which is the fire report, and I'll go to ask Councillor Thompson if he could give us that.
The fire report for Eastern Charlotte Fire Rescue for September 25. They had 9 fire calls, 6 public service calls, 3 false alarms, 21 medical calls, 17 volunteer and training exercises for a total of 59. I'd like to thank everyone for their help with volunteers for the Fog Fest in Blacks Harbor for Labor Day weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Councillor, any questions or comments? I just have one comment. Kind of it was with the fire report. The fire chief put out an email the first of the week, and I just thought I'd like to read it. And I asked him if I could. He sent this out to all the membership the first of the week, and I think all of you did get a copy of it. Good morning, everybody. This is to all the firefighters in Eastern Charlotte. I want to take a moment to recognize the outstanding job everybody did during Saturday morning's motor vehicle accident. The effort, the coordination, and professionalism shown by all involved were nothing short of exceptional. From the time the 911 call was placed to the moment the trapped driver was extricated was just 1 hour and 17 minutes. Even more impressive, once the first apparatus arrived on scene, the driver was extricated in just 58 minutes and 56 seconds. That's a testament to your skill, your teamwork, and focus under pressure. A huge thank you to each and every one of you for a job extremely well done. Your actions made a real difference, and I'm proud to work alongside such a dedicated and capable team. Keep up the great work, and that was from the fire chief to all the membership for that accident on the weekend. So I always like to let people know a positive story. Any other questions or comments on that? If not, I'm going to move ahead to the Public Works report, and I'll ask Councillor McQuarrie to.
Public Works for Blacks Harbor. They continue to do regular checks on the water and wastewater treatment system. This is done daily, weekly, and monthly. The sewer lagoon dredging by Clean Harbors is scheduled to start in mid-October, and both ponds should be completed by the end of October. Public washrooms on Main Street is shut down and winterized. The water at the community garden has been shut off and lines drained. Asphalting on Glenny Court and Wallace Cove Road. Gaudet's Lane. Public Works restored the lawns also from the water break. Garbage truck needs major repairs before motor vehicle inspection, which is due in January. PTO and turbo are not working, and that truck goes like a snail. Fire hydrant replacement in Wellington is scheduled for the week of October. Is that the one where they broke the pipe? Yeah. The new building for the Works Department, the garage door is to be installed. This is scheduled for October 6th. And the lighting for the sea cans is also scheduled for October. And insulation for the knee walls and ceiling will be added to next year's budget, I guess. So that's it for Blacks. And St. George. Railings and landscaping were finished up along the front of the new Riverside Park Pavilion. One final short section is still left to be installed. Final materials for the new crosswalk lights at the high school were ordered. As soon as time allows, they will be installed. A new flagpole is put out at the Penfield Fire Hall. 3 of the work crews wrote certified exams for Provincial Water 1 and Wastewater 2 certificates. Ditching was done on Fundy Bay Drive to remove any overgrowth of vegetation and allow the water to flow freely. Some final painting was done for traffic arrows at the high school and stop bars at the intersection of Lateet and Mount Pleasant, as well as crosswalk on Main Street. Water, they're doing the normal water testing, was done in August. All results are in the report. The annual maintenance for the sewers was started on the lagoon blowers. Oil and filters were changed on 2 of them. One of the blowers' drive pulleys had excessive wear, so they were removed, and new ones will be resourced. New pump guide rails were installed on number 6 to replace the old ones that had rotted out on the bottom, and normal testing was completed this month. And I want to thank the guys for putting up all the banners for Memorial Day next month.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Councilor McQuarrie, I appreciate it. Any questions or comments on that? Councilor Dedirakis, you're first.
I have a question about the St. George Public Works. So for our CAO, I brought up the stop sign on Campbell Hill and South Street several times. It's on an angle like this. Is there plans to erect it? I see that it's attached to the, what's it called? The guardrail, but it's still
Yeah,
on
there
the
is
side.
plans to realign that guardrail, most certainly, yes. It's been brought up that it is leaning, so it does need to be straightened.
It's not
especially
just
the front.
leaning, it's like almost horizontal, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, so there is plans to rectify that,
okay.
yeah.
Is there a date in mind?
Not exactly, I just can't give you a date, but,
Okay.
I mean, it is on a work order, but, you know, I'll check on ETA tomorrow.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we're going to move ahead to the Parks and Recreation report. Councilor Hatley.
Yeah, I'm just going to give some brief notes of it instead of reading all
Sure.
the whole long one of the
No.
startup of the rink. So,
No, we appreciate that.
so yeah, startup went, as the CIO said, the startup went great. The guys at the rink, under Drew's leadership, has done an awesome job, knocked it out of the park. This year is probably the earliest we've had ice in for quite a while, and with the upgrades that we've done, it's even with the humidity being warm and temperatures being really hot, we had no humidity problems in the building, so that's great, and I want to say thanks to Drew and his team for doing that and keeping a close eye on it. One thing I will touch on is everything's kind of closed up. The ball fields are going to be closed up here shortly. Canal Beach was closed up. Splash Pad's already closed up. There was some Riverside Park grand opening that was done. The playgrounds, the same as every month, get the checks done on them. Community gardens, as you read, they're all closed up now. And I want to say thanks to the Parks and Recs guys too, and all Public Works for helping out with the festivals this summer. So, thank you.
Good. Any questions or comments on that tonight? If not, that takes us to 7F, which is committee reports. I have one myself, Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission report, September 25th. I'm not going to read, I'm going to do like Councilor had, just give you the Reader's Digest version. The regional tourism is going in a new direction, and that new direction is that the Hollis was asked to hire a new person, communication and PR coordinator, and that's all listed in the report, all the duties of that new position. As well, during that meeting, the board agreed to all that, and they also, what was the other one? There was a motion by Harvey Matthews and second by Ken Stanix. The board agreed with that the CEO be seconded to KRSC, which is the King's Regional Service Commission, for 1 day a week for 6 months, and that was voted on and carried at that meeting. The report's there before you. If you have any questions or comments, Councilor Dedirakis.
Your Worship, it's not in your report, but I do have a question about, there was a public safety meeting that was held in St. Stephen. Is there any updates from that?
I didn't attend that meeting, so I have no idea. No.
Okay.
Yeah, Deputy Mayor, did you go to that one, or?
Yeah, it mostly centered on the numbers and the troubles they're having in St. Stephen with the homeless.
Okay.
And some of what we saw here from the last RCMP report, it was a mirror of that, but it was basically centered on the homeless troubles they're having in this town.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, any other committee reports? Councilor Dederakis, you're next.
Yeah. So this is the report for the Age-Friendly Committee. So several items. We've had some grant success. So we applied for a grant called Resilient Seniors and Resilient Communities. Just to remind council, this is something that would help seniors in Eastern Charlotte prepare for emergencies through workshops, starter kits, volunteer training, and support services. We were approved a $9,750 grant. So that's the first stage. The second grant that we applied for was a New Horizon for Seniors, Safe and Connected Seniors Cafe, and that was done in collaboration with a local nonprofit, The Hub. This is for multi-location cafes in various wards with information, games, entertainment to address rural isolation and loneliness. I mean, it's not rocket science. If you look at Eastern Charlotte, it's a very vast municipality, mass community, and not everyone has the transportation to go to St. George. So this will help residents that live in, let's say, Bonnie River, attend some events. This would be up to 6 cafes over a period of 12 months, addressing areas outside St. George. Recognition ceremony, that has been canceled again. We're waiting for a new date. The next project that we're working on it's called Envelope for Life. This includes plastic envelope with emergency and other key phone numbers on the front and a magnet on the back. Each envelope comes with 2 or more cards that can be filled out, folded, and kept in an envelope on the fridge. Easy to update as needed. We had a meeting with the EC Firefighters Club, and we received, they graciously donated to us a $500 donation. There was public washroom signage installed on J.O. Spinney Drive, and our chair had a booth at the Riverside Pavilion and for at the opening, and that was successful. And she's going to be doing a follow-up at the night market on October 24th. And that is it. Actually, no, there is a question. They are also going to be working on a newsletter, and they were wondering if it would be possible if there's money in our budget, specifically for our age-friendly budget, to do printing. We do, I think, yeah. Okay, and that's it.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Councilor Dederakis on that? If not, we'll move ahead to number 8, the financial statement, and I need a motion to accept the financial reports for September 2025. Deputy Mayor is making that motion, seconded by Councilor Thompson. Question or comment on that motion? Councilor Dederakis, you're next.
I do have a question. It's for under beautification of St. George. We budget 10,000, but it says that we went over 8,000 over budget. Where would this have gone to?
A lot of that was around the St. George Post Office Plaza.
Oh, okay.
So we did some work there that we had to do some repairs to some of the walkways. They were, even around the post office, there were some old granite rocks that were notorious ankle twisters that we replaced there, and just some general brushing that we had to do in that area as well.
Okay.
So that was where the bulk of it would have been from.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Old business. 9A, Beaver Harbor Athletic Association funding request. I'm going to go to Councilor Tidd. What would you like to do with this tonight?
I move council make a donation of $1,840 to the Beaver Harbor Athletic Association.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilor Tidd, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That's the end of old business. We move on to new business. 10A, dangerous and unsightly premises. I'm going to go to Jason on this to speak on this before we get a motion.
Thank you, Your Worship. So new business for council, kind of a new old business, but it's a dangerous and unsightly file that we've had some discussions on before, but I think previously it came to council, and we've extended some of the timeline to allow the possibility of the the landowners to remediate the situation, which unfortunately we have to report that they have not. So this will be in regards to PID 15007511, which is 35 Crow Island Road. There has been final notices issued with the property, so we'd be looking from council for a motion to move ahead with demolition under the dangerous and unsightly premises bylaw.
Council, what's your pleasure? Aye, Deputy Mayor.
Whereas the bylaw enforcement officer has deemed the dwelling and accessory buildings on the property as unsound and recommended their demolition, and whereas the owner of the property has failed to comply with an order to comply issued by the bylaw enforcement officer on May 7th, 2024, be it resolved to authorize the completion of the notice of demolition order to comply for 34 Crow Island Road, Back Bay, PID number 15007511.
Great, thank you, Deputy Mayor. We have a motion on the floor. I need a second for Councillor Hatt. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary? There's none. That's passed unanimously. Moves this on. It's moving faster than I thought. Just give me a second. Next is 10F. No, I missed a page, sorry. 10B. 10B, Hospitality Levy, Grove Motel Grant. Jason, would you like to speak on this first?
Thank you, Worship. So this is a request from Birch with the Grove Motel, I should say, in St. George, requesting to utilize the hotel levy. The bylaw for a hotel accommodation levy that's enacted for St. George with both hotel and motel. The levy has been collected by the Grove Hotel for quite some time. They're requesting a grant utilizing the funds for an amount of $9,020 for their sign replacement project. And they do contribute $8,000 annually to the levy, and they've have no such draw on the levy at this point. And as council may be reminded that in 2024 we did do a proposal with the Granite Town Hotel for a very similar project. And so it is certainly my recommendation that the Grove Motel is in good standing with timely remittance every quarter, and it's recommended to support their grant requests utilizing the levy funds that have been specifically collected by the motel to the allocation of $9,020 to allow for the additional outfitting or cost of replacing signage with the Grove Motel.
Great. Council, what's your pleasure? Councillor Lee?
Be it resolved that council approve a grant to the Grove Motel for the repair and/or replacement of signage in the amount of $9,020 to be funded by monies received through the St. George Tourism Accommodation Levy.
We have a motion on the floor by Councillor Lee. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Thompson? Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Hatt, you're first. Oh, okay, sorry.
I guess my
Councillor
only,
Ted, you're next.
I guess my only comment would be, when the funds are requested, should we put a timeline on actually replacing signage? Because I know that was an issue with the last one. Like, I just feel that we should have some kind of a time limit on that. Like, it shouldn't be 3 years down the road or 2 years down the road. That would be my only comment.
I agree. I think one thing I've learned in practice is setting timelines on those type of grants that there's an allocation, but if it's not paid back in a certain amount of time, then the grant would have to be paid back.
So you'd like to have that added to the motion? Is that a time?
I would just say within a calendar year. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Okay, so, Councillor Lee, are you okay with that in your motion to add that to that?
I am.
Yeah, and Councillor Thompson, you're okay? Okay, we'll just move ahead. It's just a small change, so if everybody's in agreement with that, we'll just keep that in the motion. So we add that within the calendar year, it has to be used. Any other questions or comments? No? All those you sure you don't? You had your hand up.
No, I was just going to ask if we could add within a 12-month period.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so we got covered. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Draft bylaw EC-14, utility rates bylaw. Jason.
Just an announcement of this, not really first reading at this point, but just bring council forward to the drafting of this bylaw utility rates. What this will be for is a single utility rates bylaw for both the Black Harbor and water system. This doesn't really deal with so much the piping, it deals with how bills are processed, timelines which are processed, other types of aspects of the utility. So it will be fees related, for water shutoffs. So we have done a preliminary draft of that, and that will be circulated for council, and then hopefully maybe within the November first reading, come back to council. So.
Okay, that moves us to 10.
I got a question.
Councilor Hatt, yeah?
I just want to make sure that we're not taking away the discount that is existing, at least in Black Harbor, and the thought was to move it to St. George area as well for anybody that pays their bill on the timely basis.
Right, so within the next draft bylaw, we'll look at that as well. I think that's a good discussion point. I believe right now Black Harbor is the percentage 15% for Black Harbor on its discount for paying a bill within a certain set of time. So, I think that's one of the intentions of this bylaw is to bring a lot of uniformity with things such fees and discounts, even things of how we classify a unit within the water utility. So that's the whole purpose of this, is to bring uniformity.
Yeah, I just get concerned when we say uniformity and that we take it away for Village of Black Harbor because St. George doesn't have it today.
Okay, we'll move on to, oh, you have something? I'm sorry.
I want to say something. So I wanted to extend, first of all, I want to say thank you to the staff for putting this together, for drafting it together. I know that takes a long time to do. And I was it seems promising to, extend this discount incentive, this early payment discount incentive bylaw to St. George. I thought there was a perceived benefit, but I do have some concerns. Because we know that when discount incentives are offered, we still have to make up that lost revenue. And if I understood from our working session, the one that we had last week, the budget is prepared with the assumption that everyone that uses the same service receives a discount, which means the rates are increased overall to offset the reduction. Is that correct?
Yeah, a discount total would be an expense, exactly. So there is an expense line for discount. That's correct. So
what you're saying though is because it gives a perception of a discount, but residents who do pay their bills on time are actually going to be paying more, right? We're effectively potentially asking the majority of ratepayers to subsidize a program that's intended to address a few delinquent ratepayers. That's how I perceive this. So I would like from your staff, to deliver like an actual data breakdown for St. George of the number of ratepayers that actually do not pay their water bill, that are really close to actually having their water turned off.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good.
Because for me, like as it stands, I respect Black Harbor, but I don't see how this could benefit St. George. And the other concern that I had with what was given to us was about the interest charges. So what was given to us was that a residential accounts would be subject to interest charges, but this does not include industrial or commercial, and I don't think that's fair. So I believe that any interest charges should be applied to everyone, right, residential and industrial.
So the two councillors have laid the groundwork for further debate.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure.
So I guess that's the best way to leave it
Yeah.
tonight, because really we don't have anything in front of us. But it's good that both of you have expressed your opinion on it, and there'll be further opportunity for everybody to give more opinion as well. No, I
I guess, Your Worship, my question would be on that then, if they're two completely different type of things, because I know when no one pays their water bill, the municipality still pays it.
Correct.
So if you're not getting anybody to pay their water bill, it's an incentive to pay your water bill on time. I know where the data came from before to drive this project that had happened, and it's been a big drive, and we weren't coming up with the shortcomings of it. But if it's going to be a big deal, I would, and for the residents of Blacks Harbor. I would just like to withdraw from it, and we'll keep our water rates the way they are.
Okay, we'll move along to 10D, which is the draft amendment to bylaw EC-01, proceedings with council. Do you have this?
Yeah, so this is, sorry, just in the wrong spot there. So this is a draft amendment to the proceedings of council, sponsored by Councillor Diderakis. There's some amendments within this bylaw regarding regular meetings. It's outlined with a draft that's presented to council regarding regular meetings as well as public hearings. And there is a new section regarding some committee of a whole data that's there under section 6. And so there's really, it covers really three areas within the procedural bylaw looking for amendments. Maybe Councilor Diderakis can explain.
Okay, so this is the same as the one before. This is more just a discussion tonight. So Councilor Diderakis, did you want to speak on that, or?
Yes. So we as a council, we meet about 1 to 3 times a month for committee of a whole meetings. So I thought that for future councils, it would be easier if that decision was made at the beginning of the year, so that way we can have consistent dates, and then the public would be able to attend those meetings. Something that I noticed that is not included in this draft was the time to be notified. So in the draft I put forward, I proposed that the public would be notified in advance. I arbitrarily put 5 days. That was something that I saw from a different municipality, but it's totally up to council to decide, of upcoming committee of a whole meetings, and that the agendas would be posted publicly. So currently, the committee of a whole meetings, the agendas are not posted publicly. And I know that there have been residents that have come forward that have asked for this, especially when it comes to topics that are very much relevant to them or of an interest to them. And also, I think, we are working, we don't just sit here. This is not the only time that we actually sit down together. We meet, like I said, sometimes 1 to 3 times a month just to discuss different items. Decisions are not made, these are just for discussions. So it's also a way for the public to know that we are actually, working on these topics. So I just want to know why that part was omitted from the draft. Was that a clerical error, or was that?
Clerical error, correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could we put that in there, please?
Correct, yeah. I think with the first reading, if that's so wishes of council, then it opens up to be amended anyways, or I shouldn't say amended, but additions to be made, additions, subtractions. Correct.
So this would be something that we discussed over the next month, and then a first reading will be done in November.
Yeah, committee of a whole, yeah.
Deputy Mayor, you got your finger up?
Advance notice is good, and I agree with Alexa on that, but there also needs to be a clause in there for emergency meetings if something comes up. We can't tie ourselves down to only scheduled meetings that were scheduled a year in advance. If something, we have had issues come up, we've had to meet on immediately, so there has to be a clause in there for, just for clarification, I guess. Thanks.
Good, all thoughts to be added to it, so, yeah, absolutely, thank you. If not, we're going to move ahead tonight. These are all things that will be discussed over the next month. 10E, budget discussions. What's council's pleasure on this?
I'll make the motion. That is 10E.
Councilor, you want to speak? Okay.
Oh, well, I'll make the motion first. Okay, be it resolved that all working sessions for the 2026 budget, as well as any committee of the whole meetings where budget matters are discussed, be recorded. Actually, be video recorded, and that all such recordings be made available for public review, and that Eastern Charlotte residents be given the opportunity to provide comment to council regarding the 2026 budget.
We have a motion on the floor, and I need a seconder for that. There's no seconder at this point, so the motion dies. Sure. Okay. That moves us ahead to 10F, which is the bus trip charters. And Council, what was your pleasure? Would you like to speak on this, Jason? Or,
Thank you, Your Worship. So just a presentation given to some of the members of council regarding just a new opportunity for local residents. There's a business that's in Eastern Charlotte that has a private, I guess, a bus in this area. One thing that was recommended during some council discussion was that perhaps we would organize a sort of a seniors theme, 2 Christmas shopping trips to St. John for residents of Eastern Charlotte. And so I guess that's what's before council today.
Great, thank you. Council's pleasure. Councilor Lee.
Be it resolved that council authorize staff to charter the services of Dawning Voyage Tours for the purpose of 2 Christmas shopping bus trips to St. John, New Brunswick for senior residents of Eastern Charlotte.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that, Councilor Thompson. Question or comment on the motion? Councilor Tidd, you're going to go first.
I just have a question on that. So this is going to be managed by municipality, I assume, not the person charging it?
Correct. We'll treat it just as much like a seniors tea event that we would have. So there's only so many seating that would be put out to the public to arrange those reservations through the municipal office.
So it's going to be like a first come, first served?
Correct.
Deputy Mayor.
Seeing as how some events like that become just, a pleasure trip, I would like to see a church or a community group involved, so it's somewhat based on needs. So people who can't afford to go get preferential treatment over people that just want to go for the social, if there's any way possible, that we can vet them a little bit.
We can certainly, put that out through the different community services groups and let them know. Certainly, there's more of a promotion with them. Yeah. Yep.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? Oh, Councilor Hatt?
Yeah, I just have one question on that. So are we chartering them solely, or are they charging on top of what we're chartering or paying them?
They have a per trip fee that they have. I think it's somewhere around $950, just under $1,000. So it'd be $2,000 that would come from our events budget for these trips. So it would be just a flat fee for each trip.
I guess that still doesn't answer the question. Like you compared it to a senior social, that's a free event for them people that are coming to that. I would want to make sure if we are chartering that the private industry that we're chartering isn't going to charge them on top of it, because I don't see where that's wrote in stone that they can't.
Right. It would be us chartering the full bus. So
Okay.
yeah, they would not be charging anything on top of that.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Oh, okay, sorry, Councilor Hatt. Okay. Did you want to speak on your nay, or do you have the opportunity to speak?
I just don't feel that there's enough information here for us, and it's very subject of how do we just stop it for one group than the other, so.
Yep, absolutely, no. That brings us to correspondence, which are none tonight, and that brings us to, next is the public presentation appearances. Please note under bylaw EC-01, section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdiction. I ask you that when you begin, you give your name and civic address for the record. Also, during this time, I cannot tolerate or allow anybody to make accusations against anybody on any subject that works for Eastern Charlotte or any members of council or anybody for that matter. If that happens, I have to stop you. Once, twice. Oh, we got some movement.
Matthew Hall, Ward 4. What Councillor Dauderakis was trying to do and make the budget conversation more open and document it for everybody was amazing. I don't know what is wrong with you guys for not seconding that and following through with that, but like, it's ridiculous, guys. Like, there's people who can't come, there's people who want us to talk and have input on this stuff, and you guys are denying that. St. Stephen has it open. They're ahead of their budget each year, and it seems like each year, we're always behind the 8 ball on this stuff. Everything's late. There's no public output. It's all dealt with secrecy. The powers that be are always late and aren't held accountable for the wrongdoings. Like, something needs to be done to hold these people accountable, and changes need to be made, because this is getting too much. Thank you.
Yeah, second, anybody else? Yeah. Hi.
I came just sorry, Anthony Scott, St. George, 19 Henry Lane. Most people know me. I just wanted to come and listen tonight, but with Matthew and with your motion, why are you trying to hide stuff? It should be open. We're the voting people. We're the taxpayers. We ought to know what's going on. So I'm in favor.
Anybody else tonight? Okay. There.
Wayne Avery, 101 Main. Camping season's over, I'm back. Okay, so 11 months ago, I talked to you guys about being open and transparent. And it's been 11 months, haven't seen nothing. You guys said you would look at doing it every 3 months. I'm pretty sure the bylaw for ATVs came in a lot faster than what this is going, right? So let's get our ass in gear, excuse French. Now, another thing I want to talk to you about is you guys sent a letter to my house for code of conduct that one of us in the house filed, I won't say who. You cited the complaint, the code of conduct part, and the thing, you said you did it in a closed session, and that you also stated in there on the section 3G, which is about conflict of interest. That's not code of conduct. But in the letter, you said you got the complaint on conduct of a counselor, right, for code of conduct. Now, the other thing is, in your EC02, it says it will be done, any complaints, in a regular session on camera. You guys did it in a closed session, which funny, the night before on CBC News, they said that code of conduct cannot be done in a closed session, but yet you guys did it. How many have you done in a closed session, and why haven't you brought them up here in the in-camera session? So I expect you guys to answer that at some point soon. You're doing things wrong, you're not following your own bylaws, you're not being transparent. Get your act in gear. Enough's enough. So sooner you guys are out of here, the far better this town will be. As a bunch of people, I respect you all. As a council, no way. Get your act in gear.
Okay. Anybody else would like to speak?
Karen Carnigan, St. George. Just a couple of things I heard here tonight. It's been months that we were under the impression that St. George was going to get if you paid your water bill early, that we would get a discount on that. And I actually thought when I received my last water bill that we would have had that, because you as a council had talked about that and said that it would happen. And so I'm one of the people that pays my water bill, and I'm like Councillor Hart said, if people aren't paying their water bill, then we have to make it up. So, you know, $10 here or $10 there, whatever it is, it helps us out as residents of St. George, and the water bills get paid earlier. And I just want to, I listened about the municipal plan and the rural plan. And last month, I think that it was stated, Councillor Thompson said there was like 900 people in St. George. I think there's like 1,500 or so in St. George. Is that correct? Is somewhere in that vicinity for a number? And I think Blacks Harbor has like 900 residents. So I know nobody asked to be amalgamated, but I think the two communities, Blacks Harbor and St. George, are the communities that have really had to adjust to what's happening. And when we're talking about a municipal plan and a rural plan, I really suggest that you really take and look deep into it, whatever you choose. But back in the early 80s, we decided as a town that we were going to go to the RCMP. And I was one of the residents that was strongly against it because I just figured that things would change, which they did change. I've got nothing against the RCMP, but we don't have the protection or the visibility of a police force like we had. So I just say, whatever you choose here, don't let this plan come back and bite everybody in the behind, because you guys are making a lot of decisions for a lot of people. And I don't see where Blacks Harbor and St. George are going to do much growth with, if we can't develop, if the council doesn't have authority to make little changes in the bylaws that are set down. So I just say, whatever you choose, just don't do it because you live in a rural community. Think about the consequences for everybody. That's all I ask.
And we have another one. She got the boots on tonight, Lorraine. Oh, they're made for dancing, Lorraine.
My name's Lorraine Justison.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get a community wheelchair accessible bus for this region. That's from Musquash right through to Campobello Island. And I have my own organization now, since I was here last year. I come pretty far ahead. So yes, I have my own organization. It's called We're Running Late Busing. The bus I'm trying to get is on the back of my shirt. And I have already started the petition. Right now I have over 300 names onto it. I have a questionnaire. I have 60 names on that. They filled it out. So yes, we have nothing here. Like you guys were talking about donning tours. Do they have anything for the crippled people? No, they don't. They can't get out and enjoy themselves. It's not right. Students that goes to school in St. George is in a wheelchair. There's one. He can't go to a basketball game or anything with his friends because they have nothing. This is not right in this day and age. We need something for everybody. Seniors, people that has walkers. It don't matter. This is what I'm trying to get. And I will have the bus. Without your help, I am determined there will be a bus here in St. George. And it may not be a brand new one, but there will be a bus put here for everybody to use. This is my opinion. And so I guess I've had my say, but I will be back next month with my business plan and everything, because I've already got it started. And I'd had it tonight, but the lady got sick the other day and she couldn't finish it. But I have everything there. I have an accountant. I have my vice president. I have the whole thing. So I am going to bring everything next month and show you photos. And hopefully that you first can help out with some funding for this bus. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Anybody else tonight? Going once, twice, 3 times. Okay, we'll move ahead to the statements by members of council. I have a few items tonight, so I'll go first and get them out of the way. I had a letter sent to me at just the last minute, so I said I would read it out. Share the Magic Annual Christmas Telethon. Believe it or not, Christmas is coming. The Eastern Charlotte Lions Club the telethon is going to be on December the 6th at 12:30 to 5:30, and that's at the Lions Club in Penfield. The annual, all pledges will be read by the MCs. They provide 40-plus families their complete Christmas turkey dinner and over 50 children with toys and clothing. With your help, we can bring the magic of Santa finds all, the children in the hearts of giving and receiving. There's different ways to pay in your donation pledge. You can go to the Credit Union St. George or the Lions Christmas Telethon, under the Lions Christmas Telethon account. Or go directly to the Lions Hall during the broadcast on December the 6th. And they left the phone number. I'm not know if it was, I must read it out because some people on TV might be writing this down. Please call the magic number 506-755-3200 or 506-754-2735 by phone. And thank you so much for your continued support to celebrate our 31st year anniversary, providing Christmas to families locally in our community. Merry Christmas, and that's from the President, Peter Pospilita. Tonight I want to congratulate the Black Sabbath Wesleyan Church, who next week will celebrate 95 years, and that is monumental, to celebrate 95 years of faith, fellowship, and community. Black Sabbath is truly blessed. I wish to congratulate Karen Sturgeon and Gary Sturgeon and Don Bonner, who this coming weekend will be presented with the Pioneer Award at the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame Gala in St. John. I will be in attendance to support. I've been asked to speak at that and cheer them on for their awards. As most of you know, Karen and Gary do pretty much all their work here in Eastern Charlotte, and we're very fortunate to have everything that they do for our community. We're very fortunate to have them. My last statement tonight is on Chris McKinnon. Sadly tonight, I know that Jason had mentioned it, and I want to announce, and this is his last regular council meeting, and actually the last week for for Chris here in Eastern Charlotte. These last almost 3 years, I had the distinct pleasure and honor of working with Chris here in St. George. My friend, I want to express my sincere appreciation for your hard work, your dedication, and the impact you've had in our town, in our office. I want to acknowledge how much you will be missed as you start this exciting new chapter in your life and career. As the saying goes, our loss in Eastern Charlotte is St. Andrew's gain. I know St. Andrews very well. I know its people. It's where I grew up. It's where I graduated high school. They are very fortunate to have you, and I told them that. I told the councilors and the mayor that just this last week. Chris, you've been more of a, I guess I'd say, a co-worker for Eastern Charlotte. You've also become a friend who always was brutally honest with me, which I appreciated. That is something I always asked you to do. It was to tell me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And that you did, and I can't thank you enough for that. Your wisdom, your leadership, your professionalism, and especially your creativity will be missed. As some of you may not know, it was Chris that designed our new Eastern Charlotte logo. He designed different variations, but it is the one that we have today that we all truly felt embodied all of Eastern Charlotte's qualities, character, and terrain. Chris, you should be very proud that you have created something that will last for years to come. Chris, I wish nothing but the best for you. I am sad to see you go, and not just because I still can't figure out the photocopier machine, but you have become a friend, and I will miss our chats, and especially talking about sports and events and the Blue Jays losing again. I've always joked that you were the son I never had, but I'm going to change that up because it makes me feel odd. I'll go with a younger brother because you've always helped me with my technology, such as my phone and new apps. And my two daughters probably appreciate you more than you will ever know, because I wasn't driving them crazy by calling them. You fixed a lot of small problems. I wasn't driving them crazy. So my daughter's solution to most of the problems was, Dad, unplug it and turn it back on again. That usually fixes it 9 times out of 10. So Chris, this isn't goodbye, just farewell for now. I hope you stay in touch. Here's to new beginnings and exciting challenges for you. I know you will do well. And on behalf of council and residents of Eastern Charlotte, thank you for everything. Thank you. A big round of applause for Chris. I'll go to the deputy mayor.
Wow, that's quite a speech to follow. Thank you, Chris, and good luck in your future as you've chosen. As our CIO stated, any community groups seeking funds, your application must be in by October 31st. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. And as for closed-door meetings on bylaws and such, we are mandated by the Municipal Act and our own bylaws. Some stuff has to be behind closed doors. It's just the nature of doing business, so sorry if that offends some.
Councilor Thompson.
Thank you, Chris. Your knowledge and commitment to Eastern Charlotte is greatly appreciated in the last 3 years. Thank you.
Councillor Hatt.
So yeah, I guess that's I agree with the Deputy Mayor, it's a hard one to follow, so. Yeah, I want to say thank you, Chris. Thank you for all the help that the last, since amalgamations happened the last 3 years. Your dedication to this community has definitely not gone unnoticed, that's for sure. So I wish you good luck on your next chapter in your life. I do want to reach out quickly and say thank you to everyone that has reached out over the last couple months. It's as most know, I was in a severe motorcycle accident on July the 20th, and I'm glad to say I'm still here and with the living, I like to say, on this side of the grass. And I want to say thank you to everyone that's reached out and words of support and just sometimes just a voice to talk to. And anybody that knows me, I love a good politics talk, so it's great when that would even transpire. So. But there is one thing I've learned by this accident, and it will go to, and I'll get to reason why not seconding the motion tonight on the recording thing. And I believe there's some work that needs to be done before we get there. So I'm gonna take a few seconds here, Your Worship, and read this. So once I had my accident the first month, after the first month, I was good enough that I would be able to Teams in. I know this council has many times asked for a way that we can Teams in and have a way that it could be recorded so we could be in live to be able to watch the meeting if we're not able to hear. Some of us do travel for work, and in my case, I was end up being injured at the time. And there's no way for us to join in other than a telephone call. Thank you, CHCO, for recording it. Even though, yes, there's sometimes probably a 30-second delay with YouTube, but at least they got to hear in somewhat live form of what was happening. And I think in today's world of, let's be honest, the technical world and digital world we live in, that having papers in front of our desk here and reading information from papers, it's 2025 and almost 2026. We still have no way to log in Teams like every other council that you go around our small area has here, and that needs to change, and it needs to change tomorrow. So it's not that I did not support the motion that Councillor Diderot has said, but let's be honest, today right now, without having CHCO come and record it, and then hopefully they would post it out to YouTube, and let's say that is maybe a couple times or 3 times a month. That's a big strain onto that. We have no way right now of recording it. We have no way of us logging in to make meetings of it. We have no way if anybody wants to log in just for a Teams and view it. And once again, it's 2025 and it's time that changes. It was months ago we've asked as this council, and we did ask for devices to be bought. I can't remember the name of it, the AL recording thing that most places have. Thank you. And I know myself, I think it's time we need to figure that out. And it's not that it's not open to being transparent. Most people know me. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm very transparent about things. So, but I know we need to figure out how we can bring our council into the digital world, because today, there's no way for even us to log in to watch a meeting. There's no way for even the meetings to be recorded, for even the councillors to watch it. So it's not that I don't support it. I do support recording of meetings and ones that aren't in the Municipal Act, land legal personnel issues. But we need to figure that out. And to make a promise today that we're going to record budgets that's going to probably start within the next few weeks, to me, I just can't raise my hand and say I'm going to second that when I know it's lost, because we're going to have no way of doing that. So anyway, I do want to say thank you for everybody that's helped out. I know myself, I was down and out for Fog Festival. The rain was terrible, and I just want to thank everybody in the municipality, the staff, volunteers that helped to make it happen. And I'm on the mend, and it's good to be back. Thank you.
Councillor Diderot.
That's so sad. I want to say thank you to Chris McKinnon. He's been a great asset to our municipality, and I've truly enjoyed working with him. St. Andrews is lucky to have him. Something that the mayor said about honesty, good decisions are made when you have honest people in your corner, and Chris, you are one of them. There was a meeting which I can't share publicly, but there was a meeting that happened, and I was very happy you were there because you were able to bring clarity to the situation, and you were the only one to do that, so I appreciate that. So for Karen, you had a question, you made a comment about the early payment discount bylaw. So it could be a good thing for St. George. I just don't know. How I'm coming from this is, you know, after our conversation that we had at our committee of a whole meeting, our working session, I have questions. I have some concerns about this. So I'm going to wait for our CAO to deliver on that information, the data specifically for St. George, and see exactly how many ratepayers are not paying their bills that are close to having their water shut off. Because to me, paying for the illusion of a discount for a few delinquent accounts doesn't make sense to me. Maybe in another working session, I'll have a different perspective. But I want that data for St. George to have a really concrete position. And also, I'm not aware in St. George if there's any major issues with payments. I'm not sure if that's the case for Blacks Harbor. Maybe it was in the past, but I've never been communicated by our CAO that we have an issue with payments for water payments. Regard to my motion, I mean, for me, whereas transparency and accountability are the core values of Eastern Charlotte, whereas budget discussions directly impact residents, businesses, and full access to these deliberations are in the public interest, whereas we're not a secret society and we are using public money, whereas we, the public, have the right to know what we do with our money and the objectives we carry out with it. I was under the impression that the municipality bought 2 owl devices, but we didn't. We did buy an owl device, okay? And I also know that CHCO, like looking at other municipalities, like for St. Stephen and St. Andrews, for example, they have stepped in and they don't just record their regular council meetings, they record their working sessions as well. There is an upcoming budget discussion for St. Stephen. I'm sure CHCO will be there to record that. So I'm surprised that council didn't support this, but I respect it.
Councilor McQuarrie.
I'm not a big talker. Chris, you've been a big help all year, or 3 years, whatever it's been. And I wish you well in your journey. Plain and simple. Good luck, buddy.
Councilor Lee.
Yeah, I think I've already congratulated you, Chris, but good luck in the future, and I hope you enjoy your new job. Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight.
Councilor Tidd.
Well, thanks everyone for coming, and Chris, again, congratulations on your new journey. You'll be missed here for sure by this councillor and all the rest, I'm sure. I'd like to also thank council for the accepting the funding donation for Ward 6. That will go a long way to repair the ball field over there. Just a couple other things in regards to the recording of budget discussions. I don't have a problem with that. I guess I do have the problem with where it's all, just because of the privacy issues surrounding some things in budget when we're talking about any upcoming contract negotiations, any land acquisitions that's built into that budget. But other than that, I have no problem. If we have the technology to do it, then I say we should do it. The only other comment that I would make is about the code of conduct. I think you'll find in the neighboring Nova Scotia that any code of conduct things are done in the public, but not so much in this province. But I brought that up at a committee of the whole more than once to open up discussions on that. But I don't think we're going to have to do that because the province is going to mandate a code of conduct and some other rules and regulations for councils all across the province, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, you are correct in that, absolutely. Councillor McKay.
Chris, we're going to be sad to see you go. You are a man of character, and character means a lot to me. I know you. I know you are the same man outside of this office that you are inside of this office, and you walk in the utmost of integrity. And when Councillor Dedirakis said about the honesty, I know that you are a man of honesty and character. And St. Andrews has just got a stellar employee. And I want you to know that you are going to be missed in this office. And as far as the motion that Councillor Dedirakis made that wasn't second, I agree with Councillor Tidd. That's the only reason I did not second that motion. I didn't know a whole lot about what this motion entailed before the meeting, and I asked about it, and it was just that word. I had talked to Councillor Tidd, and it's that word all. And because there are some things in our budget that needs to be kept confidential. And other than that, I am absolutely open to, other than the personnel issues, like he said, or upcoming contracts or whatever, I'm completely open for the budget to be public. And so that is the only reason, Councillor Dedirakis, that I didn't second your motion. And as far as council hiding stuff, I mean, we've gotten that a lot. I mean, it's like water off a duck's back, really now, because we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. And, you know, you talk about having the best interest of this community at heart. There isn't one councillor sitting at this table that does not take into consideration the ramifications that we have if we make a wrong decision. And we are human, we are going to make wrong decisions, but we take this responsibility very serious for this community. And you may not like our decisions, but then there's probably another 40 or 50 people that do like our decisions. We are not going to please everybody. I said that the last council meeting. There is no way we are going to please everybody, but we are doing our very best. And as far as things being secretive and done without transparency, I'm sorry that you guys feel that we're trying to hide something. And you don't have to take my word for it. You don't know me and whatever. But I can assure you, whether you take that or not, there is nothing done in this council that is secret and underhanded. And I'm sorry that the people of this community feel that way. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. And listen, even though I'm saying all this, I really appreciate the nerve that it takes to get up at that microphone and say what you have to say. I appreciate it, and I hope you continue to do it.
Great. Thank you, Councillor McKay. At this point, I'm going to ask for a motion for adjournment. Councillor Dedirakis, you first. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming tonight.